one. 94 Rocks, Jay-Z once again hanging out with a band we play here on The Dark and on 94 Rocks. And joining me now is Joey Arena from the band OUTLIER. And first of all, Joey, thanks so much for joining me. How's things going in New York? I believe that's where you are right now.
I am. I am upstate New York. Things are good. I mean, I can't lie. It is good to be home. We just got back from tour. I missed my dog and my bed, so I can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy how humans react about being out. They love doing things, but when they get back to home, they're just like, this is nice.
I definitely have a love-hate relationship for it because when I'm home, I want to be gone, and when I'm gone, I want to be home. I think what happens is I love to meet every single fan. I'm very, very personal with getting to know my fan base and just giving them my time. I'm very grateful for them. So I try to give them, enough of myself because I've been fighting on doing VIPs for years, to be honest. Just I'm very grateful for everybody that purchases a ticket or, a piece of merchandise. But with that comes a lot of wear and tear on my social battery. So I just kind of like when we get in whatever we're touring in at that time, I will just put my earbuds in, tell everybody to not talk to me, and that's it. So I need to recharge completely.
Well, you've got your earbuds in right now, or at least you're listening to us, so you can talk to us for a few minutes, which is great. We want to learn a little bit more about this band. And, I came across you guys, I think it was, I'm trying to look back here, I think it was in 2019, actually, is when I came across you guys.
Oh,
What's the history of the band, I guess? Kind of give us just a short little snippet of that.
sure. So I took a different approach with creating this band than I have in the past. I wrote and recorded the first EP in about 2014-ish, 2015-ish. It was just me and my producer in a studio apartment in Cleveland. And then I decided I wanted to piece the band together later. But I wanted one piece of consistency in the writing, and that's kind of what it was. Instead of getting five egos in a room and what do you guys want to sound like, and I rather had create the foundation and then find the members, like-minded musicians after. That was the goal for that.
So one thing I have to ask, because originally when I got the music back then, it was with a V, outlier. Now I've heard you switch it now to a U. What was the reason for that?
Um, there was a couple things. So the V was intent. The intent was to really focus on the branding, make it easy to find with a Google search and all of that. I knew it was going to be confusing. Some people probably thought we were a German band, OUTLIER and stuff like that. But we, I love the name so much, and I didn't want to change the name at all. So I felt that just going to the U would be easier. I mean, a quick history lesson is that the V acted as the vowel U in the Greek and Roman alphabet. So, I mean, the U was not introduced to the alphabet, until way later. But unfortunately, we all were not taught great in school. So we all did not get that lesson. So
Well, it was funny because when I was typing in, obviously report for media base, when I was typing you guys in, I was going OV and nothing was showing up. And I'm like, what's going on here? And
yeah,
then
yep,
and then I reached out to somebody and said, oh no, and now it's OU. Oh, there it is. So
yeah.
that's the reason for it.
Yes, with this album rolling out now, everything will be the U moving forward.
Nice. Okay, there you go. So some new stuff. Before we get into the album, the song, all that stuff, you just mentioned we started the interview. You were out on tour with some friends of mine of Silent Theory. I know those guys very well. And then also a Major Moment. Talk about the tour and that and how that went over the past month.
The tour was great. Silent Theory have become really great friends. We've been wanting to tour together the past couple of years. Our schedules just did not line up, but we finally got it done. The crowds were great. Both our draw and their draw, easy to digest one another. So it's always good when you can find when you could be on a tour package where the fans can enjoy everybody, you know. So, um, but yeah, I it's you know it was a long time coming. They're great people, and I look forward to doing it again.
Any highlights of the tour that you can tell us about?
Uh,
Like I said, that you can tell us about.
yeah, yeah. So it definitely was a wild ride, I'll say, and
It's, all right, I got you speechless. So
it's kind of it's
there's some
kind of
good things going in your mind, but we just like better not say that. You know, we can write a
yeah,
book about it in 40 years.
yeah, yeah. We'll call it the mud. It'll be our book.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I looking at the positives of it all. Again, us and Silent Theory were just we had a great time together. We just the shows did really well, especially during the week turnouts. You never know how they're going to be. They did better than we thought. Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, it was just without getting too into it, I will say there was some drama,
Okay.
not between our bands, but I'll let the viewer, the listener, take it from there.
Okay.
Um, so it did get interesting at times, but again, as far as us and them, it was great.
Well, it's interesting because I've known those guys for a long time, love their music, and now I've gotten to know you guys over the last 5+ years here. And your two bands, both of you bands, are very similar. And what I mean by that, not necessarily maybe the sound, but you're bands that should be at a higher level than you are, and you're just not there yet. Or for some reason, programmers like myself, which I spin your stuff, but a lot of them aren't doing that as much.
Thank you.
Is it frustrating, I guess, because the talent that you have, the talent that Silent Theory has, should be always right away when a new song comes out. Programmers just said, "Yep, I need to get them on the air."
Sure. I mean, so there's a lot I think that goes into that, and from uh, at least being from our angle, it is frustrating. I mean, we spend so much time and effort, and we're very hands on. I'm very hands on in the writing. I've worked very closely with whoever the producer is for the track, and I mean, really, what it comes down to is like it's an old model. You know what I'm saying with a lot of these stations, unfortunately. And I get that they're allowed only X amount of space, and they're focusing on a lot of things. But on, we have been very blessed stations, like you guys, and like there's a handful of them, especially with Creature of the Night. I thought Creature was going to be too much of a heavier track, and so, but it's been highly digested, like way beyond than what I thought it would be. And then, I think what a lot of stations need to really do is follow what you guys are doing, what Octane is doing, like what this is. You guys are leading the charge, and this is why you're going to get more viewership because people are tired of the same, unfortunately, 15 mega bands that it's just there's gatekeeping across the board. But it's not even just in radio, it's in record labels, it's in booking agencies. There's Back in the day you can tour with friends a lot easier than you can now, like even if you're on a different booking agency. But like booking agencies, like they love to double, triple, quadruple dip, so they keep all within the same agency, and that's how you do it. And so it does become very, very frustrating because we're friends. I pride myself on my like having quality friendships with a lot of bands and stuff, but I'm never the one to go, yo, take me out on tour and like do any of that type of stuff. But I like something's got to give eventually, though. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't keep seeing the same tours over and over, and that's what you're seeing a lot of nowadays. So,
Right.
and it reflects in radio. You're seeing the same bands, you know, and yeah,
So I guess my question to you is how do obviously I get it. I think rock radio has definitely gotten heavier over the last maybe 5, 10 years. Maybe the pandemic had something to do with that a little bit because people were just like, all right, I need something to
sure.
just release. But how, I guess, do you see it that we can get more bands like you and your bands and the Silent Theories and bands getting more airplay and not just the overnight spins where a lot of stations just will say, all right, I'll just put you in the overnight. They don't put you in the prime time.
Right, right. Um,
Good
so like,
question, right?
yeah. I guess, like how to get like so to get away from that, I guess. I mean, you got to provide a good song. I mean, that's the
Right.
first and foremost. I always say like I got to give my team the tools for like them to build. So I it starts with me. I have to create a good song. I have to make sure that that chorus hook is there. I got
Mhm.
to get into it and get out of it fast, especially because the attention span today is a lot shorter. So you got 40 seconds 45 seconds to make a great impression as to where this song is going. Um, so it starts with that. It also starts with, I mean, it is advertisement, you know what I'm saying? It's everything's advertisement. How you look at it just depends on where you go to invest your time and dollar. But it's also building the relationships with the stations is so important. Again, relationships. I mean, what do they always say in music? It's not, what you know, it's who you know, right? So the relationships are important, but build quality relationships. Don't build them because you want to get something out of them. It's not. I don't know. We're in such an industry that lacks a lot of heart. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about what can you do for me, and I just think that when there's a good song, people need to advocate, or a good band, people need to advocate and stop worrying about the politics of it all, I guess.
You mentioned the short attention span, and that's going to lead in my next question here because, singles now seem to be the way that a lot of artists are going rather than putting out an album. What do you like to do better?
So I can't uh hate on the singles game. I'm not gonna lie, I started doing that years before it became a little bit more popular now, like it is, because I saw that's where pop and hip hop have been.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, I always watch how pop and hip hop have been navigating, because they continuously stay relevant as far as the genres go. And rock and metal has a very dinosaur like mentality, and so do a lot of the people in the genre. So we need to kind of, reinvent ourselves a little bit in certain ways so we can compete and put rock on the forefront, put metal back on the forefront. Like, um, there's a lot of heart in rock and metal that pop and hip hop lack, especially the creative side of it all. And we need to, as a community, as a genre, we need to really uh, see what works for others and try to apply it to ourselves and see what we can do here, because what we've been doing and going in the studio for years on end, and then you go and release that, you got to spend so much money to promote even just a single. So
Mhm.
think about whatever it is, for that one song you're going to put into it, times it by 8 or 10, however many tracks you got, and it leaves bands like, I feel like it's shortening any longevity, you know what I'm saying, towards the band because of that now. So when I do a single, and the reason, and like, again, I started doing it a long time ago, even my team was like, why are you doing this? Like, like old managers and agents, like, why would you? And it's like, first off, it allows me to put a lot more of myself into the song. There's not like a deadline or anything of, okay, I got to work on the next track. It allows me to focus and pull up more of myself and time into the song. And it allows me to focus on promoting that song as well, taking, X amount of whatever budget and then putting it towards it and giving that song its true, like a true solid push as to whatever that would look like. So.
Is there, and you've been around for a while now, is there a song or songs that have kind of catapulted you into the next level in your catalog, I guess, that you would say, hey, this song I wrote and the exposure I got, and it really started to push me to the next level?
Yeah, so I always laugh with one of my producers. I wrote a song called "Buried Me Alive" with him, and
Okay.
it was the first track I ever released in like 2015. And then the album dropped in 2017, but Buried Me Alive has been released three times. Like it gets this resurgence, and I re-recorded it
Yeah.
because my voice had grown
Yep.
throughout the years. And I always loved the song because I just, for me, it's a very well written song. It embodies everything that Outlier has, to offer. And of course, like with Chris Motionless being a good friend of mine,
Hmm.
he advocated for the song years ago during COVID, and then it just catapulted again. So it's just become this song that like me and him make a joke on, like with the new album coming out, where he's like, "You want to re-record that one again?" So like we'll make jokes about just re-recording it because it just keeps getting new life. So it's like whatever.
Well,
Um,
I mean, it's true though. You change you over time, people change.
sure.
So obviously, maybe that meaning back when you wrote it in 14, 15 is totally different than what it is now in 25.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that one has done very well for us. We have a song called "Living Dead" that also did very well for us, and I would say, I mean, there's a handful of them that have like gone above the bar as to what like of whatever par would be, I guess. But they I say these two specifically because when we're on tour, and it just happened again, like several nights, but there was a woman. She was a sweet woman, very nice lady, but she went to the show with her son, and she heard Living Dead, and she goes, "Oh, they're covering this." And he goes, "No, they're the band that like that's their song." And so she's like, "I love this song. I listen to it all the time." And it's so funny because that happens with that and then Buried Me Alive, and I see it on every tour. And then people start singing it once they know what it is. And I always would make jokes. I'm like, I think we're a one-hit wonder band because it's like the song is like more popular than the band, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
people think we cover our own music, which is amazing. So
That's kind of cool though. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to have.
yeah, I mean, I don't. Hey, listen, what if it's my music that goes further than the name? I don't care. I'd rather be a one-hit wonder than a no-hit wonder. So like, I don't care.
Absolutely. You mentioned Chris from Motionless, and you must, as you said, you're good friends with that. You guys did a song last year in Warriors, and that has he kind of helped you on? Of course, they've really blown up big here recently, and of course had a number one hit in that. So, is he somebody that you reach out to a lot and try to see get work together? I guess a little bit.
So to be honest, I never go to Chris with anything like that at all. Anything he's ever done was complete voluntarily, like just him being a really, really good friend. Again, like I go back to what I was briefly saying, like my friendships are really based solely on the friendship. If friends want to help friends, they will do it on their, with their own, on their own time and in their own, again, intention. But like, um, I never wanted to ask Chris for anything. I really respect my friendship, and again, I want him to like. I always wanted him to know that the friendship was more important than anything else, and not just because of his status, but because of him as a person. And I will say that Chris has been nothing but a sweetheart. Like I genuinely mean that. He's just been such a good friend across the board, with not just the band, but even like other things. Like we're both pretty festive individuals, I will say, when it comes to the holidays. We will sometimes white girl out, we call it, me, him, and our producer JD will totally, like, I mean, we love Halloween stuff, we love Christmas stuff, so we I mean, I don't know how much he wants me to share, but I mean, we'll make gingerbread cookies.
Nice, nice.
So,
I like it.
so, so you got
So
all these metal heads like making like we always would make jokes about it, but so like we spend some stuff around the holidays together, and again, like that's kind of really who we are as people, and that's like the friendships are like that. We'll play video games together. Um, so like it's really always been that. But when it came to him helping with the band, it's half the time me just either receiving a text or a phone call that he is doing this or he took the liberty to do this. And that's how Warriors really was. I was sitting there in the studio. I had finished tracking the whole song without Chris like knowing Chris was going to be a part of it. And my producer, JD, again, we have a shared producer, Chris and myself. And JD turns around and goes, how would you feel if Chris was on the track? And I'm like, no brainer, duh.
Hmm.
And I guess JD had sent him the song. And then Chris was like, you know what? I can do this. I want to be a part of this. And so it just happens that fast. And like when you least expect it, uh, so yeah, there was no conversation leading up to that.
So you mentioned Halloween is coming up here. Do you have a costume for this year, or maybe you and Chris could be like homemakers or something like that? I mean, since you said the white girl thing, I mean, what the heck? With a pan of cookies or
we should we
come trick
should
or treat?
we should dress like white chicks from the movie White Chicks.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
um, no, I, he's out on tour, but
Right.
no, I think I'm gonna do a little photo shoot. So I'm like a big, I rescue senior and handicapped dogs. I've been rescuing
Oh,
dogs for the majority of my life,
very cool.
and I have a lot of photographer friends that do setups and all this stuff. And
Mhm.
I did a Christmas shoot with my little blind Yorkie I got right now. But I want to do I think a Nightmare Before Christmas shoot where
Oh yeah.
I'm Jack and he's Zero. So I think I'm gonna do that. Uh, we'll see if he lets me put the costume on him and let him sit long enough. He hates it usually. Um, so yeah, we're probably gonna do that, and then but yeah, I'm a nut. I'm not gonna lie. I decorated August 2nd, Halloween. My place is fully decked out. I don't care. I'm that person. And as soon as like right after Halloween, Christmas decorations are going right up. I don't care.
So are you one that would actually like put together like a haunted house so people could come through and stuff like that? Is it, or is that too much? Are you more just
Oh
individual?
no, I used to do that with my brothers actually. We
Oh,
would
okay.
when we were younger, we would do that in the neighborhood and just like put up signs everywhere. And I definitely used to do that. Living where I live now, it's probably not the safest to do something like that, um but
Yeah,
I would though if I had the space
there you
for it.
go. Hey, let's talk about the new song that we're spinning here in 94 Rocks, Creature of the Night, kind of fitting for the Halloween side of things. Maybe that's the reason why you released it at this time of the year. Talk about the song.
So coincidentally, that was not my plan, but it did work out perfectly. So Creature of the Night is a dark, energetic twist on what would actually be a love song. I wanted to come from a different angle with kind of a more vulnerable, true side, as in like this is my true self, my most vulnerable self. Like almost like what if we approach relationships versus like how everybody's like puts on their best they their best face, they put their best foot forward, wear their Sunday's best, however you want to call it. And that's the honeymoon phase, right? Because time
Mhm.
later everybody gets comfortable and then all of a sudden you start seeing this change in a person. I mean, we've all been in a relationship like that where we've seen like, hey, you're not who you were when we first met. So it's kind of comes out like a darker angle. Like, what if we are just our unapologetic selves right out the gate? It could come off as intense for most people today, but at the same time, you'd be saving yourself and that other person a lot of time versus like, oh, we dated for 3 years and wow, you've completely changed. Or maybe this is who you were and you just never showed that. And so it just comes from the 180 of all that.
Very cool. New album. Talk about that.
Yes. So we have a new album called Screamier coming out. It's a play on, obviously, of Premiere, and given the new branding and everything like that, I feel like it's actually a rebirth or a reboot of everything. So um, it offers a lot of. I mean, we're going to have some other stuff that's coming out that's going to be like, wow, I can't believe that's on the same record as this.
Hmm.
I like variety a lot. I've never once believed that I need to have a specific sound. And, you're told that a lot as a band in the industry by a lot of people who don't play music, which is really funny. So again, I'm rebellious by nature. I do and write what I want when I want type of thing. And that's kind of like really, that's just that's just who I am. And again, it's fitting for the name. And that's why Outlier, it's when I named the band that, it was so fitting for myself, like as a personality, because that's your name. It's like it's your business. It's your brand. You want it to represent you, um, so with the album, it's going to have just a lot of variety of what I'm really about and what I want this band to be about. And just, some people may gel with more songs, certain songs over others, and that's cool. I would love to have something to offer for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Some people might be like, I like their heavier side. I like their more ballad side. I like their more, just simple rock side. So,
Is the question I have, when is that dropping?
so it's scheduled to drop in March. As
Okay.
long as uh, nothing gets in the way of that with, the powers that be, then we'll be good. So,
Okay. And then normally when an album comes out, touring has to follow that. So what's
yeah.
are you doing any more touring here before the end of the year, or are you moving that into 2026?
Yeah, so we have a couple of one-offs from now until the end of the year that are soon to be announced. Next year, I have actually a phone call tomorrow to discuss next year's touring plans. We have some stuff on the table, but we're trying to see we're trying to be a little bit more strategic with what we take on. You could tour just a tour, but at the same time, if you're not making the right moves, you're not growing, significantly. So I actually have a meeting for that tomorrow, and that'll kind of put more of a game plan together.
Okay. And
But we,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, but we do plan on touring based on the album cycle.
Right. And I'm sure you've done some touring, obviously, with different bands, like, just like Silent Theory did. But is there some bands maybe in 2026 that you think would be great to go out with?
Oh, I mean, I have a lot that I think would be great, but I mean,
Well,
it's more of a wishful thinking in certain areas
all
because,
right,
like,
give me your two or three wishes, and then maybe one reality.
right, there you go. Well, so I guess a lot of things could be a reality, but again, given all the gatekeeping and all
Right.
the agencies working within one another, my relationships can only go so far. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So uh, I would love, I just generally speaking, I would love to obviously tour with Motionless in White. I think it would be so fun to do, Warriors even live if that's even an option. But we have, we that track opened up a lot of doors to their fan base, and they were very receptive of us. So I think that would be a really fun tour to do. My dream would always be to tour with Metallica. So I know that that's beyond the reality one probably here, but you never know what happens, honestly. And then,
Exactly.
I like an iconic band like Metallica would be amazing. And then, honestly, even bands that I think, helped influence me at a young age. From Corn to Limp Bizkit would be honestly amazing just to tour with them because of, again, I feel like it's a little bit of the model in which I took with Outlier. So,
What do you think of the new song from Biscuit, Fred Durst? At first I was like, I saw the title, I'm like, oh, geez. But now it's just old school Biscuit again. I love it.
I was just gonna say, man, it's just Biscuit. Like it really is Biscuit. I love Biscuit. I mean, if
Hmm.
people, to me, it's like if people like, I don't like it. It's like, dude, what do you want them to do? Be somebody that they're not? Like,
Right.
then you'd complain about that because it wouldn't sound as natural. I mean, it's still Wes Borland's amazing riffs.
Hmm.
It's still Fred just spitting Fred. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like,
Whatever he
it's just
wants.
whatever he wants, and that's what I love about Limp Bizkit. So, um, I, I jammed it. I'm not gonna lie. I jammed it a few times on the road, and I just, I'll put it in my ears, and I love it. I don't hate on it at all.
No, at first I was like, am I gonna have to? And then I was like, all right, well, half the time it's the title. The title
Yeah,
sometimes that's important in a song, even for a programmer. Because if you get something that's a little bit controversial, racist, whatever it may be, okay,
sure.
just that you're like, oh boy, hold on. And I'm just thinking the Morgan Wallen thing. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But no, I mean, I love it, so it's good.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that that's Fred being Fred, though. At the same time, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind
Yeah,
of like a
tongue in cheek.
little tongue in cheek. Yep, a little bit of shock value. You know, not quite as much as like Manson, but like it's still kind of like what? It's like the just the curveball of it all, and I love stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Again,
no,
rebellious by nature, so
nothing
I
wrong with that. Nothing
I
wrong
can
with that.
appreciate that.
Hey, we got to get going here, Joey. But if more people want information about the band, how can they get that?
So currently the socials still sit with the V, so OVTLIER. Anything will pop up. A lot of the search engine stuff is starting to mold the two together. So even if you do go, like, if you want to follow us on Spotify or anything, and you type in Outlier, the V will, like, our profile will pop up at, you know, at the top, just given the amount of traction we normally get. So, um, as things continue to merge, it'll be a lot easier. But yeah, start with the V, and you'll find us a lot faster than the U, probably.
And maybe we'll see you in Minnesota in 2026.
Absolutely, I would love to. We're
That'd
due to
be,
come back.
yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. Joey, thanks so much for joining me. Have a great holiday season. It sounds like you enjoy the holidays. So I'm looking forward to maybe on your social seeing some of those videos or pictures of upcoming Halloween.
Absolutely, I'll be sure to share them. Thank you. It was great talking to you.
Once again, that is Joey Arena. The band is Outlier. It's on 94 Rocks.